But I think that there's been, I've learned a number of lessons, and I've grown a number that I would not have if I'd stayed right there in the family. The lessons that I take back, and I take it back every day because we still live together, the lessons that I take back, I transfer those lessons in a very respectful way. And you have to understand that the business is governed the way the family is governed. So the family governance translates into business governance. And if you understand that, you could transfer the lessons in a way that it would make sense, in a way that it could be implemented. All in that. It's not a go it, now have an MBA, you know.
That's to make a quick point. Just to pick up on what Bhushan is saying. I see it a little bit differently when it comes to bringing new ideas into the business. You have to consider the time in which you're presenting new ideas for expansion and everything. When a founder started as 25 years old, by themselves or with a new wife, no kids, their appetite for risk is very different than at 65, big children, grandchildren. You come and tell them, let me expand, let me go to Barbie, let me go to Guyana until they... No. Very different. Even if you're not in a family business, that is the nature of life. As you get younger, you know what, you're making mistakes, but you don't even know you're going bold. When you're older, sometimes experience brings, you temper your expectations, and you really would like to be left in peace. You really say, well, you have some who are vigorous, way up, but in general, you would like to enjoy your grandchildren, and you don't want too much headache with business pressure, because you went through that pressure already. You have built this business from scratch for 40 years, 50 years, and now somebody coming to say more pressure? That is a difficult thing, which is why I think we come back to succession should start. This is my rule of thumb. I advise clients. 10 years before you're looking to not be in the business, if you're looking to relax at 60, at 50, start planning succession. So it's always something that's not, because you can't plan life. You can't plan you're going to leave us, but you can plan. Once you begin putting steps in place, things might work out. And I'll give you one small example from a very personal experience. My mom passed away last year. She was a successful business in Tunapuna. And for a very long time, no kids are in the business. For a very long time, she works as hard as she did when she started the business in her 20s, as she was at 65 before she got ill. I think the day she got diagnosed with her disease, she came from the store. We, for years prior to that, have been saying, Mom, you're over 60, why is this business so falling? Say, but you're fine. But a lot of it, again, is the self-worth and everything. But we try to implement things in the business that will help her not have to put in the same hours. A computer-based inventory system, proper management structures, reporting, accounting, everything, and so on. But she said, why you need that for? It's all up here. Why? Why you need all that for? All they want to see what I'm doing. But we said it. We actually said, well, yes, Mom. We do. We want to help you, right? But sometimes you do. What happened was this, and this is the life. This is how family businesses are different. Her granddaughter was born. She had a reason not to be there all the time. All of a sudden, there's a reason. So, the day my wife got pregnant, or maybe a few weeks after, I said, Mom, after she got pregnant, she's elated and looking to enjoy her granddaughter. I said, maybe now is a good time to start thinking about putting in this system, putting in this, putting in that. So now you can be anywhere you want on a laptop, see sales. You could track this. You could say, I could do that? Yeah. You go on vacation, you could see everything. You could call them in the store. We link up the cameras. You could say, all you sleeping on the job. And that was the change. All the technology existed before, but she had to have a reason to do it. And that was the reason. So when she passed, I wouldn't say fortunately, we wish we didn't put it and she's still here. But we had systems in place that when she was not there, everything still ran. Because the responsibility in a family business, in my opinion, is beyond the family. I think Bala said there, you are responsible for a lot of employment of people. People who have become, I grew up in that store, people I consider them aunts and uncles. And all of a sudden the family business falls. Where are they going to get a job? They've been lawyer employees for 15, 20 years. So I think these are also important considerations to all family businesses.
Interesting. Now, I would like just to go in some sort of round robin asking this question. As any business phenomena, there is a dark side and there is a bright side. So if each one of you can share the dark side of family business and the bright side of family business, and sort of help us to make a comparison. Pharrell?
Well, all businesses would have challenges. And family business is, the family structure of a business is very different to all other business structures. Because what you have a family making a decision in a corporate context. So what happens at the business place happens in the house, affects relationship in the house. So a husband and wife starting off a business, having an argument at work, you know who's not sleeping in the same room that night at home. So essentially, what really happens is that the decisions of the workplace affect the relationship at home, or the decisions at home affect the working relationship in the workplace, vice versa. So one of the darker sides of the family business is that wherever you go and whatever you do, it is always with you. Some of us have jobs, corporate jobs. When you leave the office at 4 or 5 in the evening, you pull the door and you lock it. That's the end of that. But in a family business, you lie down on the bed at night, whoever is next to you, and you're talking business. You sit down in your office at work, you pick up the phone, or if your wife or your spouse or whoever is next to you, and you say, well, what are we cooking for dinner tonight? So that what really happens is that you have a merger of the relationships and a sharing of the relationships between what goes on in the home affects what goes on in the workplace. And that is one of the darker sides of business, because you can't separate yourself from it. You leave and you go on vacation, and as Mr. Arnold was saying, you want to know what's going on, because your family business in an entrepreneurial type structure becomes a lifestyle and no longer a profession. And that, to me, is the greatest challenge of family business. And that is why we have a problem with succession as well. Because Mr. Arnold was saying, some of the founders, they want to stay there. They don't want to go anywhere. But like us, we don't want that. So in terms of how it is now, you can explain to our founder, your parents in this case, that we can manage it well by not employing the same practices that you did. And that's a significant challenge. And in terms of succession, that's another great issue with the darker side of business. If you have one son or one daughter, one child, well, you're okay if that child has the passion for the business. But when you have multiple sons, or you have a son and a daughter, remember, the right to employment in a family business is through birth. You can't take that away. As long as you have a family business, your place of you are entitled to a place in that business, employment in that business, once you were born into the family. And so the darker side of that becomes the rivalry among the siblings if it's not clearly delineated, if it's not planned. That's the darker side. And with the sibling rivalry in terms of succession, you always have who will lead. And it doesn't naturally have to follow with respect to the order in which you were born.
But that's what happens, right? That way you just, right.
So
Right.
if it's happening according to that, probably parents have a legitimate reason to say birthright, Esau and Jacob, right? But if it's not happening that way, sibling tensions. And that's why I would say, I mean, I'm in a family business. I have a sibling as well. And I would say one of the ways to amend that was to clearly set up a different entity, a different income stream, a separate income stream, and allocate it per child, if it is that everybody is involved in the business. So those are two significant challenges. We could go on and on and on about different challenges and the darker side of business. But I think the one that really stands out for me, or the two that stand out for me, would be the rivalry in terms of the succession, who will lead and who's entitled, and to how to clearly manage the relationships in the workplace compared to what goes on at home.